Hello, Seiiti Arata. When you go on a romantic date, or you deal with a friend or a family member whom you care about, what do? You're likely to treat this person with attention, kindness, and affection. You do all of this because you like this person and you want them to like you too. But what about your own self care? Do you treat yourself with such consideration? Or maybe you are too hard on yourself? Answer honestly. Do you mistreat yourself when you don't achieve a goal? Do you use rude words or in your thoughts whenever you make a mistake? Are you too much stricter on yourself than you would be on someone else? If this is the case, your self-love is damaged, just like you wouldn't like a person who would treat you badly. You're not going to like yourself either if you have these inner reactions and attitudes that are rude and unkind. When you change your inner voice to a positive conversation, you will feel your self-love rise almost instantly. Love your life as it is, and then you have the life that you love. Those who have low self-esteem and cannot love themselves are almost always attached to a desire for a life that would be different. It's the old trap of thinking that life would only be better if you had fewer kilos in your belly or more digits in your bank account or some other external goal. If you lock yourself into these goals as a condition of being happy, you may take drastic measures to achieve your goals, and in this you end up treating yourself with harsh words, little understanding, and high levels of demand. You are more stricter on yourself than you would be if you would be dealing with someone else. And this is a trap for two reasons. First, if you mistreat yourself and if you force yourself to do something in a rigid way, you will create resentment against yourself and also against that forced path. Now, second, even if you reach a goal, your brain will soon think of a new goal. It will restart the whole cycle of conditioning your happiness to something else that you don't already have. Now, on the contrary, if you love your life as it is today, without clinging, being attached to desires for change, you will instantly have the life that you love. Letting go of desires makes you treat yourself better. And when you treat yourself better, you cultivate self-love. The most direct way to increase your self-love is to accept who you are today. Don't compare your life with other people's lives for not having the same body shape or the same money or the same relationship. That doesn't mean you should give up on your dreams. But it is important that you don't condition your happiness to the realization of these dreams. There is a popular saying that there is no path to happiness because happiness is the path itself. Instead of saying that you will be happy if only you achieve this or that goal, accept what you already have and remove the barriers to being happy. And when you're happy with what you already have, it is easier to achieve those goals that come from a real need. That is, goals that are not born from some type of comparison with other people who have different realities from yours. In this positive state of happiness, you talk to yourself with kind words. Be understanding of your mistakes. And focus on enjoying every step of the journey. Be careful how you talk to yourself. A positive inner voice is essential to increasing your self-love. Inner voice is this conversation we have inside our heads. The voice that is often more rigid with us than it would be when we would be dealing with someone that we really care about. So to improve this self-talk, ideally you should overcome the negative beliefs that you have about yourself. This can be done with the help of a specialist in therapy sessions and also through a whole process of self-knowledge. Pay attention if your inner conversations always have a negative bias. Notice if your inner focus is always on the things that you don't have or the goals that you haven't achieved yet. If that's the case, just let go. Throw away that negativity. Stop demanding perfection. Keep your dreams, but don't punish yourself for every mistake that you make. It just makes you mad at yourself, and that gets in the way of achieving your goals. So make a deal with yourself Stop insulting yourself and demanding unattainable perfectionism. Instead of that, rewrite the script of these internal conversations that you have. Adopt more positivity, a positivity filter whenever you talk to yourself, especially about achieving your personal goals. Exercise self-love by focusing more on what you already have and less on what you don't have. One of the problems that arises when we get too attached to the achievement of external goals is that we believe that our life is bad, that we ourselves are of little value. And this is because pursuing a goal means focusing on what we don't have at this moment. For example, imagine a person who has the goal of becoming a millionaire. If that person is too attached to that, is always going to be focusing on how far away he is from getting that 1 million. In the process, that person might start to compare himself to other people, to millionaires, and see how his life is so bad, how far away he is. He doesn't yet have access to that financial wealth. The problem is that the person stops to value what he already has. All the money he has already amassed, all the possessions he already bought, all the health he already has, all the friends that he made along the way. Attachment to what's missing ends up blinding us to everything that we have already conquered. And if we condition our happiness to something that we don't already have, we start to hate our lives and even hate ourselves because we haven't achieved those goals. One way out of this vicious cycle is gratitude. So make a list of everything that you already have, from material possessions to also intangible items like your health, education, family, friendships, experiences, and be thankful. Celebrate and reward yourself for each one of these things, noting how good you are in different areas. Whenever you find yourself in a spiral of negativity, thinking about what you still lack, and comparing yourself to other people, take this list of attributes and focus on what you already have. At first, it might seem strange, but your self-esteem is strengthened every time you exercise self-love. And over time, you get used to talking to yourself in kinder terms, and you let go the goals, the attachment to the goals that are on the way of your own happiness. To love yourself more, learn to have an inner voice that is focused on positivity. Treat yourself well, the same way that you would treat a friend whom you care about very much. A great tactic to improve your self-talk is to stop conditioning your happiness on achieving goals. Focus more on what you already have, rather than what you don't have. And this is one of the positive psychology techniques that can increase your happiness levels. To learn more about other techniques like this, I want to invite you now to try our happiness training, and then you can see all of that in the address arata.se/happiness.